One of the largest critiques of the sequel trilogy is the lack of Force ghosts. Where did they go, and why do they never appear to the main characters in these films? The biggest question by far is why we have not seen the ghost of Anakin Skywalker appear to Kylo Ren. We're breaking down the top 5 reasons the Force ghosts haven't appeared, plus what I think will happen with the ghosts in Episode 9 in today's video. This one's going to get crazy, so without further ado, let's talk Star Wars. So before we begin, it's important to talk about exactly how the Force ghosts operate. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's a ton of conflicting information about Force ghosts throughout the Star Wars canon. This includes when they can appear, who they can talk to, and how they manifest in the physical world. In this video, I'll be offering multiple explanations for why they haven't intervened, and a lot of these theories do contradict each other. So until we get more clarification from Lucasfilm themselves about the Force ghosts, either in Episode 9 or at a later date, it really is going to be a choose-your-own-adventure of what counts as canon. Since this video was already made before Episode 9's trailer dropped, here's a quick edit regarding Palpatine possibly being a Force ghost. As of right now, we don't have enough information on him to get a good idea of what he even is in this movie, so this video is going to still assume that dark side users don't become Force ghosts and will instead focus on the lack of Jedi appearing in the sequels. Back to the video. With that, I've thought of the 5 most probable answers, so let's get into it. First up is the idea that Force ghosts cannot communicate with dark side users. This has never been explicitly stated, but we've never seen a dark side user visited by a Force ghost. For example, Obi-Wan never appeared to Darth Vader. This would work similarly to how Luke cut himself off from the Force. Only light side users can become Force ghosts, so once you turn to the dark side, you cannot witness them. The main issue here is that we don't know how long Ben Solo had dark side tendencies in his youth. Perhaps if Snoke corrupted him early enough, it prevented him from receiving advice from Anakin or Obi-Wan. This is all poorly defined, however, since we don't know how far down the path of the dark side you have to be to cut yourself off from the Force ghosts, or if it even matters at all. Another theory is that Ben Solo needs special training in order to communicate with the Force ghosts, according to Yoda in Episode 3.
One who has returned from the netherworld of the Force, your old master.
Qui-Gon.
How to commune with him, I will teach you.
This is not very plausible though, due to Luke and Obi-Wan talking without training during the original trilogy. This is one of those gray areas between the trilogies where it isn't clear how adept you have to be in the Force to communicate with the Force ghosts. Again, a lot of this hasn't been fleshed out, and it really does need to be if we want an official canon on it. This next theory I found to be pretty interesting. The theory says that the Force ghosts chose not to intervene with Ben Solo because they knew the only way to defeat Snoke was for Ben to turn to the dark side and ultimately betray him. Think about it. The First Order was already on the rise before Ben Solo turned. I mean, even without Kylo Ren, the First Order would likely have risen to power. So if Ben did not become his apprentice, then things could have been even worse. The Force ghosts, knowing this, chose to not meddle with them and reluctantly allowed things to play out as they did. I don't find this theory as compelling as the other ones, but I also can't find any major flaws either, so let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And at number 4 is one that's a little bit complicated, which is that the ghosts cannot interfere with major galactic events. In the original trilogy, Ben tells Luke that he cannot interfere with him in Vader's duel. Well, why not? Well, it seems like that such an important battle has to be completed without the involvement of Force entities. It would almost be like cheating when you're fighting between the light and dark side. However, Obi-Wan does convince Yoda to train Luke, which was also a very important event. While not entirely on the same level, it was still crucial for Luke's journey as he wouldn't have become as good of a Jedi without Yoda's training. But this also doesn't work with how Obi-Wan talked to Luke as he destroyed the Death Star, which set the rest of the saga in motion. Also, Qui-Gon did not interfere with Darth Sidious and Order 66 at all. To be fair, this was also because the Jedi hadn't learned to communicate with him yet, other than Yoda during the Clone Wars. This one just has too many exceptions to the rule in my opinion, so let's move on to number 5. Now this last one is my personal favorite, and the one I think makes the most sense canonically. Force ghosts can only interact with people that they were close to in their previous lives. This one I really like because in every instance of Force ghosts appearing in the canon, it has either been a master-student relationship or a close friendship. Yoda and Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon and Yoda, Yoda and Luke, and all the other ones too. This would make sense as a stronger connection to the dead person's identity would make it easier for them to connect through the Force. Additionally, it explains why Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda have not appeared to anyone but Luke in the original and sequel trilogies. None of them know Ben or Rey and don't have a strong enough connection to them to manifest. The only hole in this theory that I can see comes from episode 6, where Luke sees young Anakin. Ideally, he would have seen Anakin manifest as he knew him with the old version, but thanks to George Lucas, that's no longer canon. Other than that small error, I truly think that this is the best explanation for why we don't see the Force Ghosts in the sequel trilogy. Looking ahead to episode 9 though, I do think we will see more of the Force Ghosts, given that this will be the final installment of the saga. I think we will primarily see Luke mentoring Rey, but I do hope we get more. And yes, I do understand that if Yoda or Anakin appear to either Rey or Ben in this movie, then it will ruin my theory. But to be honest, having those characters get involved would just be so much better than just leaving them on the curve. I would rather be wrong and see them on the big screen. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you want to see the Force Ghosts come back, and if so, which ones? Be sure to comment down below with your thoughts, and also tell me what video you guys want to see me do next. I read every comment, so your suggestion could become a video. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter so that you don't miss the next time we talk Star Wars. Till next time, thank you all so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.